Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children 18 plus. You are tuned in to the Lone Officer Podcast with me, Dustin Owen, and two amazingly special guests. That's right, I said two, not one. All the way up from South Florida by way of Chi-Town.
Let's go.
You hear me pimp out their coaching program all the time. It's growth-only coaching. This time, not only do I have Justin Lopatin, but I have his partner in crime, Amir Syed.
Let's go.
Amir and Justin, welcome to T-Lop.
Let's go, T-Lop Nation.
Get it, baby.
Hey, how'd I do with your last name?
Nailed it.
Oh, man, I practiced that, y'all, off camera for like at least 3 or 4 minutes. Amir, very easy, right? When we put 4 letters in the first name, you put 4 in the last name. I cannot screw it up. But it's funny. We had earlier Credit Christie stop by.
Right.
So Credit Christie's coaching with you guys, right?
Yes.
So Credit Christie, for our T-Lop fans, like she's been on the show a couple times now, and she hops on our calls. But like I point blank said, I don't know how to pronounce your last name. That's why I call you Credit Christie, or I use her maiden name Service. But it's a cool story. Amir, what is her last name?
Her last name is Noruzi.
Noruzi, and what ethnicity is Noruzi?
She is her Iranian, Persian, and Nowruz means New Year. And the Persian New Year is March 21st, which is the first day of spring. So when we were coming up here, I told Justin, I'm telling you, she's Persian. He said, no, she's Polish. It's Noruski.
Nowitzki, Noruski.
You call her Nowitzki.
I called her Nowitzki as if she married Dirk. But no, she married a Iranian American.
Right.
And you did the coolest thing because she's a client of y'all's, but y'all never met in person yet.
Right.
No, first
So
time.
she came by the studio because she lives right down the road, and we're friends. So she literally texted me while I was at lunch. She's like, "Hey, do you mind if I come by if Justin and Amir are gonna be there?" I'm like, "No, come on by." But you hopped on the phone with her father-in-law, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, very nice man. He's we're both from the same town in Iran. That's where I was born, which is the capital. And so, you know, he's just an amazing man. Like right there, she put him on speaker, and so.
And you dropped a little Farsi. I liked that too.
Farsi, yeah. I told him, I was like, hey, we can't speak Farsi the whole time. We don't want to freak out the, you know.
The white folk.
The white folk.
Yeah, we don't want to. You got the two pasty pails with me and Justin over here. All of a sudden, we're giving you the stink eye because we're just convinced. By the way, all of us American-born Caucasians who only speak English, whenever we hear someone speaking a different language, we just assume because we're self-centered like that and we're narcissists like that you're talking bad about us.
Yeah. Right.
You all were like
Knowing him, he might have said something bad about me, though.
Yeah, I did in about 20 seconds. I'm like, this little short guy over here is giving me a hard
Yeah. No, I'm super stoked to have y'all on the show. It's going to be super fun because it's 3 of us and we hardly ever do 3. This is the 3rd time we've done a 3-person show.
Nice.
I had my 2 partners on once where we actually told the story about how we went from 3 dudes that were barely surviving the aftermath of the credit market crash of 2008 and how we came together, one processor, one assistant, and built out our 11-branch billion-dollar region without ever using a recruiter, without ever using advertising. It was a really cool show because for the first time I could feature them. And then I did one with a buddy of mine, Grant Simon, where I think we were bringing on one of his friends. She had a book that she was promoting. Her name's Cynthia DeLuca. It was a cool show, but it's rare for us to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because collectively, I think you said 20 years in the business.
20 years, yeah.
Justin, you are
17.
And I'm 19. So if you're quick at math, that's how many total years?
About 56.
56 years of
Long time.
experience sitting here. And, you know, my career earnings probably total up one of your good months, Amir.
Oh, don't say that.
But nonetheless, we have over $2 billion of career originating sitting at one table.
Yeah, minimum.
Yes.
been a long
And
road.
we can just go ahead and spill the
We
tea.
should have an arm wrestling contest to see who the champ is.
I don't want to be embarrassed on camera.
I don't do any of those strength competitions, but I will see who can get on the road and run the longest without stopping.
I'm out.
I'm definitely
It's about
I just had lunch.
Yeah, that was kind of like my 18-year-old wanted me to flex in front of the mirror with him
Right.
to see whose biceps were bigger.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't do that.
Yeah.
No. Like there was a time when he was like 12 or 13. Sure, I would love to have that competition. But no, so then I had to like go ahead and challenge him. I said, well, let's go ahead and get in the lake and see who can swim the longest without either drowning or stopping.
There we go.
Or if you're really feeling froggy, homie, let's wrestle.
There we go.
Let's wrestle. He chose no to neither. I chose not to flex off with him, and it's all good. But you know, it's interesting. We were getting prepped. JC was setting up the cameras and the lights, which he says thank you, by the way, because now he doesn't have to be in front of the camera or on the mic. Our fans, I don't know. He's one of their favorites, so
Yeah.
we're going to have to really impress today. But we were like, hey, what are we going to talk about? And you're like, I don't know. And Amir's like, I don't know. And JC's like, whatever y'all have been doing, just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to do. But what we were doing is I was asking y'all a lot of questions about your company,
Yeah.
growth only, and your team. And what was the catalyst behind growth only? What are some of the lessons you've learned in the past? Is it 3 years now that you've had growth only?
About 2 years.
About 2 years.
About 2 years, yeah.
So you're 2 years into it. You have how many coaching students currently?
About 250.
Wow, 250 coaching students in just 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
So I want to start with, you can take this question. What was the catalyst behind starting your own coaching company? Because you're both $100 million producers.
Yeah.
And by the way, Justin, do you still produce?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you still produce. You're
Yeah.
hardcore.
I'm cranking
into
it back up.
You're cranking it
Cranking
back
it back up. Yeah.
Did you take last year off?
I didn't take it off, but we were building something, and I was able to scale myself out of direct client consultation, and we've been one of the beauties of this business is everything doesn't need to flow through you, and so as a byproduct of being committed to building, I was able to subsequently focus on my scaling and training and making sure that our process was still smooth without me having to be at every touch point, But to answer your question, I'll tee it up to you.
Yeah.
In Chicago, when things went remote, it went remote hard and fast. And at the time, production was so busy, it was awesome. I got 2 young kids. I was at home. I was writing deals in my flip-flops, like hanging with my little kids, and it was amazing until it wasn't. And what I mean by that is it got so busy, work and life just got into a blend, and I started to lose my rhythm of like just the separation of life. And specifically, I missed driving to the office. I missed going to the gym. I missed coming in, shaking up with everybody, having coffee, a little chit chat, in the kitchen, seeing what was going on, the camaraderie, because it started to get mundane, which sounds kind of just, I don't know, odd to say, but I just felt like, man, everyone's isolated right now. And I started putting feelers out there. If I'm like, I'm doing 100 million a year, I'm feeling like I'm missing something. I'm feeling a little bit of complacency. I'm feeling a little bit of like, am I drifting? Like I needed more energy. And I had always been in coaching. I'm a product of the coaching product, which is why I believe in it. So fast forward, I had some conversations, and I talked to some other big producers in my company, and a few of them were doing different coaching programs, and I kind of surveyed them, and I tried one out for a few months. It was okay. And what I realized, I'm like, there is a void. There is a void for a community, a vibrant community of active practitioners, of people that are sharing modern systems and processes, not reinventing the wheel, but enhancing it, looking 3 to 5 years. Where's the consumer going to be? How can we learn from each other? Our brains are like antennas. How do we get ideas? What are different people doing in different markets? I had none of that. And we had our Zooms and we had our team and we had everything going on, but you still want to have this out. We were all kind of tunnel vision, banging out 30, 40, 50 refis a month. It was crazy. So I did my research. I thought about it. I'm like, if I need this, I know damn sure anyone from 5 million to, and on, they need this, right? And so I had a couple calls. I did some research. Fast forward, after about 60 days, I came to him one day. We're on the golf course. I'm like, dude, this is an opportunity for us to build something that doesn't exist. And we had both, 15, 17, 20 years in the business. We've reached a stage where, sometimes you need to spice it up. Mm-hmm. There's different ways to provide value and impact, and it doesn't just have to be locking an interest rate for a home buyer, right? So I had a conversation with him, and I'll kind of, tee it up to you, but that conversation spawned out into what it is today, 24 months later.
What I loved about something you just said there is that you were feeling a certain way, and you didn't feel like, oh, well, if I'm feeling that way, I must be unique. I must be special. You're like, no, I'm probably ordinary. There's probably many others who feel this way. Mm-hmm. Let me go solve for it. And I feel in general, business owners and salespeople, where we get in our own way is thinking that we are unique. Right. We think, oh, we're unique. We're special. Like, so let's start with, no, you're not. And then if you can approach the rest of your day as, okay, if I'm ordinary and I feel this way, then who else feels this way? And then you go solve for making that feel different. By different, I mean better. And now all of a sudden you probably have a foundation for your unique selling proposition to whoever your audience is, just by you yourself learning how to sell to you, right. Understanding that you're not as unique as maybe we all think we are.
Yeah.
So you said that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's one of my biggest epiphanies in my life, and a turning point in my career was I grew up wanting to be extraordinary. And I didn't start getting good at anything until I realized I was just extraordinary.
Yeah.
And those are two separate meanings to me. And me being extraordinary allowed me then to understand the masses better, therefore serve the masses better.
Yeah.
So really cool. Like
Yeah,
that is
and,
really
you
cool
know,
that
Amir-
you were solving for that.
Yeah, yeah. And so I thought about this. I'm like, this guy taught me the business, literally. And he's coached me. He's mentored me. You know, he went from my mentor to my coach. You know, he was like kind of my boss. Now we're best friends. I passed him, of course. But you know, listen, you know, the best
When
teachers.
did that happen, Amir?
Justin passed me up.
It was like 2016-ish, 2015,
Okay.
2016.
Okay, so it's been a while. All right,
yeah,
cool.
I mean, he was leading it. I mean, I was
Yes.
putting 100% of it into production. He was putting 70. He was a
Yes.
producing branch manager, right?
Okay.
So I'll give him that. But I'm like, dude, this is your time, man. This is our time. I'm like, we built a $1 billion branch with 8 to 10 loan officers through his coaching and direction, through our collective camaraderie. I'm like, look what we did, you know. And then we had that conversation, and that's kind of how it. That was the catalyst.
Did it take much convincing on that golf course for you to be like, yeah, you know what? Let's go ahead and start our own coaching company?
No, surprisingly, and Justin, I'm grateful for you, man. You know, because I would never be able to be in this situation if it wasn't for you, just convincing me. And it's a perfect segue because it's what we're about. Like when you look at the growth only logo, it's 2 bars that go up. And my favorite just like verse or just a quote that I always lean on, because it epitomizes my entire life as an immigrant, not speaking English, getting picked on a lot when I was growing up, not growing up, really just well off. Like mom couldn't get a job at McDonald's. Like dad was making $4 an hour. Like moved a bunch of times before I was 12. Is that, iron, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. Like I've had, some people know my story, but I have this thing where I say I'm not even supposed to be here. I've had 4 or 5 people that really believed in me, have told me this is what you do, right? And I'm going to hold you accountable to it. And I've done really well in those environments.
Who are those 4 people?
One is my father, of course, right? He had a small business and taught me a lot about character and hard work. And the second person was Mr. Reardon, my high school counselor. He graduated me in high school where I shouldn't have graduated. He always stayed loyal to me. He loved me. He gave me lots of great advice. Third person was Kevin Taylor. He gave me my first job in the mortgage business. Shout out Kevin. He had a small brokerage. He told me this is X amount of dollars you have to make every day. This is what you say. And he rewarded me, and he just gave me very clear direction. Then fast forward, I had Dennis Chikazian. He's a former Fortune 500 CEO. Incredible man. He's the one that actually told me to drop out of college. Very successful guy. He said, look, in my insurance company, we have the most highest earning people are executives and salespeople. And he goes, Amir, I can easily write you a letter of recommendation to the Northwestern Kellogg School of Business or University of Chicago, where he was on the board. He goes, but it's not for you, and it's okay. And for once, I felt like I don't have to have a traditional education, because a lot of Iranian parents, we're talking about Christy, it's like, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be an engineer, or you're going to be, and I'm like, I hate school, I suck at it, like it's not me.
Yeah.
So he understood.
So did you struggle in high school?
I should not have graduated. I had a 1.7 GPA. I was in freshman classes my senior year. And so I did not technically graduate, but this man was so influential, and he knew I had a great heart. He met my family, and he's misunderstood. He's a great kid. He's been in my homeroom for 4 years, so they graduated me. And so then, Dennis encouraged me to drop out. He goes, it's okay. And for once, I didn't feel someone looking down on me, and he gave me clear direction on what business to get into. So that's how I dropped out of college and then got into the mortgage business. And then my whole life changed in 2012 when I saw Todd Screama on stage.
Shout out to Todd.
Shout out to Todd,
Shout
man.
out to Todd. Yeah, over at Summit Funding, right?
Summit Funding, yeah. He was one of the co-owners at Core Training, and he really put me under his wing. And, I just looked at someone who I very much admire to this day. And, that entire program was built on credible coaches through a great community of accountability. And so I've always done well with that. And fast forward, I always said, what, I definitely don't. My mom was a teacher for a long time, and so it was in my blood. And I realized, like, step 1 is for someone to be a credible success story. Step 2 is, does that person want to share their success? And then the ultimate pinnacle is, can that person share their success in digestible ways? Well, that altitude is really thin of all those 3 types of people, right? And so Justin came to me and goes, dude, you're coaching all these guys. Like, you're really good.
And by all these guys, you're talking about the people who worked for your branch.
My branch, I was coaching realtors. I was coaching insurance reps,
We were doing lunch
financial
and learns.
planners.
I mean, everything you were doing was coaching
Coaching. And I didn't know I was
in
coaching.
some form or another.
Yeah, and I was holding people accountable, in a very loving way. And, it's a labor of love, too. You can't fake it, right? Like, I show love through discipline, just how I grew up. And so, I see Todd on stage, and I had not produced after 2005. I owned a brokerage firm. I said, I'm not going to produce anymore. I'm going to build my company up. 2012 came around. I was like in the abyss. We finally got out of the housing crisis in 08, 09, 2010. And I just felt this hole in my soul that, like, I'm a salesperson and I'm an ethical salesperson. I love to be in the trenches, and I'm telling these guys to do this, but I'm not really doing it. And I just had this hole, right? And I started to really understand my emotions at that point. And I said, I'm going to produce. So here I am, 0 book of business, 0 referral partners, literally nothing. So I poured my entire career the last few years into these guys and multiplying them, right? It's a great honor of mine to have my guys do more in production than me. I think that's the ultimate when people can pass you. And
that's the almost like the 5th level of John Maxwell, right?
that's exactly right, man. And so we got to be multipliers, right? And so I saw Todd speak at the the Mortgage Mastermind event in Vegas that they do every year. And all these other guys got on stage. And D.O., I'm a very type of specific learner. I don't like generalities. I don't like platitudes and these Red Bull rush of motivation. I'm like, okay, well, what do I do? So Todd got on and he was speaking. I'm like, wow, this guy's speaking is so much specificity. Like, this is what you do. And he's not this flashy guy. So I befriended him. Fast forward, my entire career changed. I went from 0 to 50 million, 97% purchase in 3 years. It was a record at the time of my company. And then we scaled and so on and so forth. Justin, when COVID happened, I'm like, I'm not going to coach until I do 100 million. I got to be able to do it 4 or 5 years in a row. And I got to build this branch. Like, I got to do the work first. But during that time, Dio, I had created playbooks. I had created processes for myself. I found something I really love and I got obsessed with it. And I'm like, man, can I do this one day? I'm like, well, I'm doing it. Everyone keeps asking me to do it. Well, we were talking off line. I had one major inflection point in my career where I was, last year, 34% of my business came from financial advisors. I think it's the most missed, underserved pillar of referral business for mortgage loan officers. And so I have a bunch of them that I'm in a relationship with. Robert referred me lots of buyers, right? And so one of them is a wealth manager, and he invited me out because I have this amazing system how anyone can get their foot in the door anywhere. You want a meeting with anyone, and not like Elon Musk, but like a lot of people, I have a system of how you can get in a very genuine way. And so a lot of these wealth managers want to get into high net worth people and just in general. So they brought me out, did this whole PowerPoint that I worked really hard on, and I just cooked. I just talked about my life. Like, this is what I do, and I shared everything. There was like about 75 wealth managers in the room. They gave me a standing ovation.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, why are these guys giving me a standing ovation? I literally was like shocked because I have this saying, service over nervous. If I'm nervous, I don't care about me. I'm just a vestibule. I'm just an intermediary. It's not about me. I'm just a deliverer of information, so they can't judge me.
Say that again, because there are so many sales professionals tuning in right now to this show who are not willing to put on a lunch and learn for whoever their target audience is. Loan officers is typically realtors, because they're afraid to stand in front of that room with 8 to 18 people and teach.
Right.
So that saying is, what is it?
Service over nervous.
Yeah. So you're doing them a disservice by you not speaking.
You have nothing to be nervous about.
Yeah, because all you are is that you said vegetable.
Vessel, yeah.
That vehicle. You are that channel. You are that aux cable.
Right.
That you can plug in. That you're just delivering it. That you're the reason why the speakers will work.
That's exactly right.
That's phenomenal. Okay, so you spoke. You get the standing ovation.
Yeah,
This was just a couple years ago.
This was in 2000, right before COVID. This is right.
Okay.
This is around 2018, 19.
Yep.
And then the managing director grabbed me and he said, "Hey, it takes one seed of encouragement that can germinate in a person's heart, right?" And he said, "I've been doing this a long time." He goes, "And kid, you're special. Anyone that hears the words 'you're special' means a lot." And I said, "Well, I don't understand. He goes, "But the way you describe and you illustrate information is really, really good." He goes, we believe in the power of the outside voice. He goes, I want to bring you in every month and I want to pay you X amount of money.
And it was a lot of money.
And it was a lot of money. And I was like, wow. You know? And so I called my wife because we talked about our moms and our wives know us the best,
Yes.
right? And I called her. I say, you know, my wife's nickname is RC. I said, RC, you're not going to believe this. She goes, I've been telling you for years, this is what you should be doing. And I still have it, man. If I can be vulnerable, like maybe it's a part of humility. It's imposter syndrome. I still don't believe, like I'm here. I still don't sometimes believe I can coach, but I think I can be the greatest coach. It's this crazy
We all have it.
dichotomy.
I think every single one of us has it. I mean, I know for me, right, I would get very nice accolades for doing this show. And I want to say, y'all, I'm just an F up. Like I am nothing special. Yes, maybe I have more years experience than you do. Yes, maybe I have the ability to speak and I use less clutch words because I bought into Renee Rodriguez's system and I actually practiced.
Shout out, Renee.
Yeah, shout out to
Double
Renee.
R.
Amplify.
There we go. Look at all those shout outs. I love it. Y'all must tune in too. You must hear me like slide in all my shout outs.
I was going to call him Big Sexy, but that'd be kind of weird. But Big Sexy, shout out, Double R.
Oh, Big Sexy. I like that one. Is that his wife gave him that one?
Hey, I don't know. He's
Okay.
big, he's suave, you know.
He is suave. Yes. Now I'm all like discombobulated and sidetracked. But no, I think at the end of the day, it's someone was asking me, what made you think that you could do a podcast? Well, what made you, and I'm like, honestly, yes, I'm sure I could tell you a story about how I wanted to be a sports announcer when I was in 4th grade. Even wrote a poem about it, and Mrs. Moore gave me a ribbon because it was a good poem or something, you know? But I then fell in love with talk radio like in my late teens, early college years. But at the end of the day, it came from people pouring into me when they would come in my office, me doing my job, just like you. Loan officers come in my office to ask me to role play, to help me script or help them script, help them overcome objections. And I would just start going and going and going. And they would slow me down and say, hold on, can I get my phone out and record you? And then fast forward, I'd have clients and I would do a buyer consultation like any loan officer should be doing for their client. And yes, I do look at myself as a performer because that was some advice I received from a financial advisor that I was calling on. And that financial advisor gave me some kudos, but also gave me some unsolicited advice. And that was to become a performer and to understand that every consultation you give should be a performance. So I would start performing over the phone for my borrowers. And then all of a sudden they would say, any chance you have that on video? I would love to have my spouse listen to it tonight.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, okay. So loan officers are coming in asking to record me. Clients are asking me if I have anything on video. And truth be told, before we ever had a podcast, I tried to do videos. It was horrible. It was a terrible, terrible experience. Most of that was mainly because I didn't have a John Coleman. But then that gets me into like a little life lesson that I want to talk to you about you all and your success, that people only see the finished product, which by the way, there's no such thing as a finished product. But you may see us today not knowing that this is 3.5 years, 300 plus episodes in. And before that, it was a year of suffering through trying to create videos and getting frustrated. I mean, I'm pretty sure I chased off one of our receptionists because I didn't act in like the most friendly manner when I would get frustrated at our inability. I loved it, and I felt a commonality with you when you said essentially you had someone ask you to speak. You're like, sure, I'll speak. But then someone came up and said, I'll pay you.
Right.
And then Justin's telling you we should open up a coaching. And you're like, I don't know. I don't if I'm that guy. And he's like, WTF, of course you're that guy.
Yeah.
Look at what you've done for me, the other LOs in our branch, but then the dozens of realtors that look up to you because not only are you a great loan officer, but you invest in them through your educational series. I just love that story because I think it's how life works. I think people need to hear it because it doesn't just happen overnight. There's no such thing as like overnight success, which then gets me into this. How do we convey, because this is a great life lesson to be taught here. You all have this coaching program that I'm a huge fan of. Like our fans have heard me talk about growth only coaching.
Thank you.
And I'm a huge fan for the same reasons why you all are the type of coaches you are. I don't want to go to a conference and listen to a speaker who doesn't have substance.
Right.
I've gone to conferences out in the desert in California where some amazing people spoke, but then they got off the stage and I'm thinking, can I see your W-2? Can I see your tax return?
Right.
Did you deserve to be up there? Like, sure, you're entertaining, and sure, you spoke without your clutch words, and you had a great PowerPoint. But do you have any substance where when you all coach, you're like, wait a minute, my team and I just had this problem last week. Or wait a minute, I had this same situation 2 years ago. Here's how we overcame it. Like, I love that about your coaching style. I love the fact that you're modern. But what I really want to get into a little bit is we know where it started. Golf course, Justin, Amir, cool.
Right.
How much work do you think went on behind the scenes? Like actual, tangible, heavy lifting, hours, if you could guess, that each of you put in prior to ever having your first student? And then I want to know who was your first student.
Okay, yeah. Shout out.
Well, so in preparation of coming to him, because I can't approach him without being prepared, right? Which is something he taught me. Scatterbrain, he hates scatterbrain ideas. He's like, break it down to me, just like he broke it down earlier, right? So I did some research. I reached out to people that were in the e-learning space. I said, how can we leverage the shift in our industry, the shift in business, to be able to coach people at scale, but efficiently?
You did this before the golf course meeting.
Correct.
Okay, so you're all in. You were.
Oh, I knew.
You
I knew
fell
in my
in love
heart.
with
I'm
this
like,
idea.
I need this. So
okay.
I'm like, right. So I wanted it selfishly for myself, for us, but then I knew we could just create and build something that was not there fully. I envisioned it and just. So fast forward, I did a couple months of research. I had a bunch of calls with people that would help us, almost a coach to coach coaches. How do you put together the business? How do you sequence it out? What's the framework? What's the cadence? What type of technology? What type of platform? All these different just things that I didn't understand, I wanted to learn. And some people were BSers and some people were legit. Found someone that was legit. I brought Amir in after our conversation. We had a few conversations with this organization. And before we even started working, we committed to invest something around along the lines of like $60,000 of our own dollars.
Yep.
After tax money, right? So we made an
So
investment.
$100,000. You got to make $100,000 in order to invest.
We made an
$60,000.
investment in a business
Not in Florida,
mentor. Yeah. And a business mentor to help us put this business together. And then from there, we made a commitment to each other of what it was going to take. And this is in like late 21, early 22. So it was still pretty busy. And what it took was us committing to wake up every day by 5 a.m. and investing 2 to 3 hours more in the morning on the business before we did everything else with our families, our mortgage business, et cetera. And then a few hours at night, a couple meetings at night throughout the week, a little bit of time on the weekends. So that was what I remember our commitment, and it
And these
turned
were
out
hours. This wasn't
hours.
just, spend $60,000 and wave a magic wand and you have your business.
No.
$60,000 was more to learn how to
Right.
do it the right way, or the way you wanted to do it.
Right.
But then there were true sweat hours that you all put into it. Roughly, 3 a day, every day? Minimum each. So 6 total.
And that's before
minimum.
we even had a student.
And yeah, I was going to say, and how long until you brought on your first student?
I think within the first 60 days.
Okay.
60, 90 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And who was your first student? Shout out to who?
Chris Bushnell.
Chris Bushnell.
Justin stunt
man.
double. He looks just like him.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty close.
And you all obviously still have a good relationship
Great.
with,
Oh,
Amazing
with
guy.
Chris.
We,
Amazing guy.
We threw him an incredible gift at we do two events, Spring Growth Con and then the Fall Growth Con. And so at the Spring Growth Con, we brought him on stage, surprised him, gave him just an incredible Rolex to celebrate him, and he's gonna be with us forever, man. That's like my younger brother.
That's fantastic.
I
What
love
market is he in?
He's in Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then did he find you all through Facebook? You all are crazy good with your social media. Like
Thank
crazy good.
Thank you.
Is that something you teach?
Yes, we're the Modern Loan Officer. We're the Modern Loan Officer coaching company, and we talk about taking your traditional, timeless practices of in-person prospecting to the next level by being seen before you're known, liked, and trusted through social.
Because I hope I'm not giving away your secrets, and they're
No
not secrets
secrets,
because
no secrets.
you too
Yeah.
can go spend $60,000 and have someone teach you how to launch your own coaching company. I just hope you have the talent and the substance behind it. But you all organically built your following
Yes, sure.
by
100% organic.
intentionally,
Yes.
not happenstance. Intentionally, you sought out the best Facebook groups for mortgage loan originators.
That's right.
Then you started contributing,
Yes.
giving away all of your experience, all of the hundreds of thousands of dollars you've collectively spent on coaching,
Right.
Yes.
and all of that learning, and then you just gave it back away
Right.
for free,
Right.
but as a way to grow your following, as a way for people to know Justin's name and Amir's name and then eventually try to build that relationship to where it's more than just a heart and a like, but it's actually you all having a conversation one-on-one, even if it was through Instagram or even if it was through Facebook, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So that was countless hours.
Every
and I
single
think
day.
that's what
Yeah.
people don't see, whether you're a young loan originator who's just getting started, you're someone just getting started working at Northwestern Mutual selling life insurance, you're at Morgan Stanley starting your FA career, or you're a real estate agent. I think you see the people who you want to be, in their third year, they're closing, if you're a realtor, 40 transactions for $15 million. You're a loan officer and you're in your third year and you're closing 40 million and you're making 400 grand. But I think what they fail to see is all of the hours that were put on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know, they see you now. Oh, well, of course, now look at them. They have an operations manager. They have 2 dialers and they have this person. But it wasn't that those first 3, 6, 9 months. And I love that about your story because you've done it in loans and now you've done it with your coaching company.
I'd venture to say we've been working harder than we've ever worked in our lives the last 2 years.
I just had a friend of mine, shout out to Andy Burton, and also calling Andy
Hey,
out.
B, let's go. He's a good friend of mine. He and I came up at the core.
Yes. Yeah, and Andy's a good dude.
Good dude.
So,
Waterstone guy as
yeah,
well.
yep. So he works over at Waterstone Mortgage. And I was texting with Andy. And if y'all know Andy, he is like as hardcore salesman you can ever become. He loves sales. He loves dialing. Like, that's it. And he's trying to goad me back into production because everyone knows my story. I sold my book of business to my loan partner when I hit a certain savings goal because there was many things I wanted to do. And yeah, one of those things is running 11 branches. That is time consuming, y'all. Like, that doesn't just happen overnight by itself. But I also want to get in real estate investing, and I'm really big into angel investing into tech startup companies. And I wanted to try this little thing called a podcast. And I had to tell Andy when he was trying to goad me, right? Andy wants someone to do calls with him, honestly. He wants someone to do power hours with him, and he knows how much fun I probably would be on a power hour, and I'm not opposed to it. If I'm going to do a power hour, though, I'd rather call my LOs realtors.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love to do that. I love to go into my LOs offices, pick up the phone and do $5 or $10 for them just to show them the old man still has it. But what I had to tell Andy, because you mentioned Justin working harder. Yeah, I had to tell Andy, hey, Andy, I have no issues ever having to go back to be a hardcore originator. I said, but currently I do need you to know I'm working really hard. I'm personally growing, I'm professionally growing, and I'm loving what I'm doing. You know, because it was my polite way of saying, please don't think I'm doing nothing if I'm sitting back. Like, you're not doing nothing. You're still doing your $60 or $90 million that you're going to do this year while also helping Amir build this, what I'm thinking very well could be best in class mortgage coaching company, who I think I heard you all tell me you're going to start including realtors too?
Yeah, we're
wow.
Yeah, it's depending on when this is post-produced. I mean, it's all good if it comes out before, but October, it's the word's gone out, but October we're going to be launching Go Agent. We're actually really excited about that, and we're launching a full-blown in-house media agency company, the #1 content marketer in the entire country, the brains behind Rene Rodriguez, the brains behind brands like Neil Home. He's collaborated with us and merged to come in-house to support our modern loan officer initiative.
Wow, that is fantastic. That is absolutely awesome. Couple questions I have in general for any guest. But looking back over your career the past 20 years, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were talking to you 20 years ago, Amir?
Very easily get coached.
Yeah.
I think it's been, for me personally, and this is not some plug to get coaching for growth only, and there's great coaching companies out there, right? So I want to be very clear with that disclaimer is my best periods of my life is when I was part of a focused community of like-minded individuals that were part of a system of accountability. So when I was a telemarketer in the mortgage business, I came out the gate making a lot of money and having a lot of success because I ran with a very tightly structured group of young salespeople that had an incredible sales coach and said, we're going to make this many dials, right? This is our script. And so when I was able to channel all my drive by being a directed individual and had specific accountability of metrics and coaching weekly to just look at game film per se, I did the best. And the moments in my life where I didn't have it, I did the worst.
I'm gonna slide over to you, Justin, 'cause I think I know the answer because I've had you on the show before. But I have a couple comments to the Get Coached. So something that we do a lot is I try to invest heavily in my time and energy right now into the future of the mortgage industry, right? Those guys and girls who are currently getting licensed. And they tend to be the people who are the most active in terms of like reaching out to me with either advice or accolades, or even, those are a lot of the people who are enjoying going to our website, tloponline.com, and becoming a member. But at the same time, I get a little bit frustrated because although someone gave them the encouragement to go get licensed, no one told them this right here. So I want them to hear it loud and clear. Y'all, you are starting your own business. You work for John Coleman LLC or Betty Jordan LLC or whatever your name is. Put an LLC behind it or an S-Corp, whatever you want to call it. Can you name me any business in this country, successful, that you could start with less than a $5,000 investment? Like, I can't think of one. I cannot think of one. But if you're a loan officer and you're getting started, you need a few $100s to go to Knowledge Coop and sign up for your 20-hour course. You need a few $100s to go to my boy Rocky over at MLO Study Buddy and help him pass the test the first time through. But then you need at least $4,000 to get you through that first year. And then you need another $5,000 to $10,000 the next year, and then another $15,000 to $20,000 the next year, meaning you have to invest in your business. And for many of us, we are the business.
That's right.
It is our
Right.
it's our likeness, our voice, our talent, our skill set. But if you're not investing in that, then what business do you really have? So I know coming out of the gates, maybe someone's not ready to spend $300 a month or $600 a month or $18,000 for 6 months, but you have to be willing to spend something. So I've been telling people, like, the reason why we built tloponline.com, my goal is to incubate all of these people so they will be ready one day for growth only, or a coaching company that's similar. Right? I don't think many people need a CRM right away, because you only need a CRM if you have leads. You only need a CRM if you have referral sources. You only need a CRM if you have past clients.
Right.
You need to learn how to go out and lead generate. And sometimes that is a smaller investment. Same thing goes for conferences. I love conferences. Love them, right? Whether it's Mortgage Mastermind, whether it's another one. I love them. But $500 on a plane ticket, $600 on hotel rooms, and anywhere between $395 and $1,595 to go there.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, y'all, you need to work towards that even. That should be once I'm already consistently closing 2, 3, 4 loans a month. So my desire, my energy, my passion right now for those listening that qualify for this statement, more than likely you probably need to go to tloponline.com and pay for a Premium Plus membership, because it's only $14.95, and let us teach you how to get out there and lead generate 20, 30 loans a month.
Right.
Let us teach you the basics. Let us give you the tools and the trackers and everything, the kind of like get started kit.
Yeah.
Because it's only $1,500. It's not $5,500, and it's for the entire year, whereas a conference is probably only for 2 or 3 days, of which you may be too hungover to attend one of the days. So really it's a day and a half. And I just get so, not frustrated, but almost get saddened that no one taught these people this. So then if you're already doing 2 to 3 loans a month, but you're not happy with where you are, Amir just told you the number one advice he'd have from his younger self: invest in coaching. Right. So if that's you and you're not being coached, then you have to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Sorry, I would get off my soapbox and quit preaching, but it is something that's really been striking at my nerve, especially because John and Mark went out and rebuilt our website, and they rebuilt it based on every requirement I had to create what was branch manager in a box. And I hear people like, oh, I don't know if I can afford $100 a month. And I'm like, then why are you in this industry?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Are you taking yourself serious? You're talking about accountability and sometimes being able to have that hard conversation. I think this is my opportunity. This may be a therapy session, by the way.
All right. Let it out, man.
Of me taking it out. I'm like, y'all, How do you not?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if it's my system. I'm sure y'all don't care. I mean, you do care, but you don't care if it's growth only. You just want to see that professionals are taking themselves serious and that they are trying to become the best version of themselves, because that's what they owe it to their client. They owe it to their community that they serve to do that investing.
Right.
Funny thing you said about game film.
Yeah.
And maybe you're talking about game film because maybe there's a documentary right now going around about Johnny Manziel. I haven't seen it yet, but we all know this. He flopped, busted out of the NFL. Homeboy never watched game film. Like, they would track the hours he used his iPad. It was 0.
Yeah.
Like 0 hours his iPad was ever turned on. But I view watching game film for those that are a business professional as getting on your coaching calls, getting on your trainings. Right? Like, when LPMI becomes the strategy to win more loans, you don't want to be an LO saying, what's LPMI? No, you should have been a part of a call 2 days ago that I did where I taught loan officers the value of LPMI, the type of market we would want to teach it in. I acknowledge this was not the market, but I also said it could be the market in May of next year. 2-1 buy downs. If you're a loan officer and you were trying to learn 2-1 buy downs, after Amir had already taught 3 lunch and learns to realtors on it and Justin had already won over 3 clients, you're behind the 8 ball. You're not watching game film.
Yeah.
I think of a football player, if I rolled out and the defense I prepared for was a 4-3 and the defense that showed up was a 3-4, and I had never seen a 3-4 before because I didn't watch any game film, it's going to take me 2 quarters to adjust.
Yeah.
2 solid quarters, at which point my opposing team, my opponent, goes up 17-0. Now I have to come back after halftime and not just win the game. I have to win the game by 18 or better because I'm starting a 17-point deficit. To me, attending your branch meetings, your company-sponsored events, looking into coaching where you can learn is just like an athlete watching game film, because you don't want to be caught at halftime trying to make adjustments. You want to be able to recognize it early and often and then be able to attack, even if attacking means you have to pivot a little bit because what you thought was going to happen didn't happen, but it's okay. You have a backup plan, or you have a different audible that you're going to call so that you can take advantage. So you struck 2 nerves there, Amir. Hopefully the audience got great value from it.
I'll add something real quick to you. And I might say something here that I don't actually. I don't know why I would rub anyone the wrong way, but think about the systematized, structured way that most people go through the educational system, right? The traditional, we go to college, we pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, we come out and we get a tangible certificate, right? And we think that certificate is going to guarantee us income, and so now that we have we probably do a job for in our 20s, right? We have hundreds of people, thousands of people in the real estate profession, okay, that all didn't graduate college with a real estate degree. And they do these jobs that they're just unhappy with, and they're like, man, I want some entrepreneurship. I want some flexibility. I don't want this boss giving me my income restrictions. Well, we're going to become a self-employed real estate agent or loan officer because we're not salaried, right? But then we don't even spend $1,000 on coursework to level up. We think we're loan officers and real estate agents. Well, dude, if people really wanted the best loan officers, they would just go to the loan underwriter. They're the ones that are making the credit decisions, right? Like, we're marketing officers. We're chief loan officers. We're salespeople. We're like, the more people we know, the more we understand people, the more business we do. Like, I never studied mortgage products. I can't even run DULP.
Get out of town.
I'm not even kidding you.
Anymore.
It's been over 10 years since I ran DULP, right?
Okay.
Over 10 years. And I don't mean to, like, again,
Yeah.
rub anyone the wrong way. I just always knew, like, the person that meets the most people and studies salesmanship and marketing and branding. Great marketing makes sales easy. Like, my highest skill set is to go source business. When the business comes in, I can hire people that can execute the loans. As long as I hire the right people, I'm with the right company that has the right programs and the products, I have a skill set of getting more people. That's more important. So how can I go accelerate this learning curve? I'm a salesperson. So I think fundamentally our industry is starting to wake up that, like, I am self-employed. It's Amir Syed, LLC. Your company's not coming to save you. So we have students in our program that are talking about leaving companies. I'm like, it's not the company, it's you. Why are
Facts.
you leaving you?
Yes.
Right?
And by the way, your company, more than likely, if you're a low producer, they're coming to cut you.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, that is big discussions going on at very high levels at every mortgage company in the industry. And it is studying the cost of low producers, and they are very costly.
Yeah. And
Even
just-
at 100% commission, they are very costly. Great points. Did you have something to add?
Yeah,
I do want to figure out your one thing, but it can't be coaching,
No,
which I
but-
think that's your go-to.
But I just want to add to that. When we always talk about, we wish we would have gotten coached sooner.
Right.
We didn't know what we didn't know. And this is the most challenging time. And if you didn't get into the business before '08, you've never seen this, right? You've seen it. You've seen it. I've seen it. This is equally, if not more challenging, just given the circumstances and the saturation of our industry. The next level of success takes the next level of skills. Skills don't fall from the sky. If you're not in an office every day learning from top producers, hearing, getting role-playing, mentorship, who are you learning from?
Yeah, you're not.
Right? You're not. And so in general, like, people need to be, the fastest way to expedite your success is to learn from people who have already done what you want to do. It's not an expense, it's an investment. And the skills you get, you keep forever. And you build on them and you enhance them and you harness them, right? And so, I mean, it's literally the cheat code. It is the cheat code. Like in video games, you
Yes.
enter a little thing and you get the cheat code. Like, coaching from the right people, credible people, it just accelerates your career faster than you could
know
ever.
what's cool about learning and studying and being a student and paying for coaching is you just said it's a skill you're paying for. It's an investment. And by the way, y'all, that skill that you learn, I promise you from firsthand experience, it applies to all business,
100%.
all sales. So I sit back and I learn how to become a 1%er as a loan originator, and then a 1%er as a branch manager, a 1%er as a regional. But then when I want to go fund and start a real estate investment company, the same principles that I was forced to learn in order to be successful, I had to learn these skills, apply. And then when I sit down with my sister and I coach her and her business partner in something that is not even mortgage, real estate, finance related, I'm coaching the same exact principles. And when we meet, the feedback was like, wow, that was awesome. Thank you for sharing that idea. We implemented it, and here's the result that we had. When I sit down with fintech startups who are coming to us looking to raise money, the questions that I ask are good questions that I learned, honestly, by first being a mortgage loan originator, where I invested in learning, I invested in coaching, I attended the conferences, and then I implemented it. So if you look at it as an expense, it's not. It's an investment, and it's an investment that you will have for life, regardless of industry. You're going to say something, Amir.
No, thanks, Dio. I think the part that it would be a misstep for us if we didn't add to it is, like, get coaching, right? Go consistent, get results. Like we have students that come in, like, we'll do whatever it takes. Like, they're in that mood, and I'm like, dude, this is not a 6-month program. Like, you think you're in shape. You're coming to the gym. You think you can do 20 pull-ups, right? And then you're like, oh my God, I'm an out-of-shape sales athlete. But it's going to take us 3 to 4 months just to deprogram you and program you to, like, get in the gym, right? Quote unquote. 6 months, you start to rent those habits. You haven't owned them yet, right? But then once you own them, typically after about a year, right, of consistent effort and being patient. It's the thing. People are so like macro impatient. And I say, dude, be micro impatient. Be impatient with you not doing the things we're asking you to do, but be very patient big. A big saying I have right now is, like, work in the days, think in the decades. Like, you got to fall in love with the activity right now and not beat yourself up on the results.
Facts.
Right? And just know this is dude, you see guys like us doing all these, I was at 20, I was nobody in 2012, right? I was eating shit every day, right? And I'm like, I just know my cheat code is going to be, hey, I'll pay you to tell me what I'm not doing right. Give me 180 feedback, right? As long as you tell me what to do, when to do, and how to do it, and you're doing it, I'll go do it. And I'm going to suck, and I'm going to suck some more. And I'm going to look back every 6 months and say, oh my gosh, that was so embarrassing when I used to say to that realtor on that cold call. Every 6 months, you have to look back and say, I sucked 6 months ago. But the key deal is the longevity. It's like I tell the students, dude, I'm not a magic pill. Like this is a journey, because once you own that habit in a year, if you don't take care of it, it's going to seep back in those rented habits. This is a lifelong commitment. And you will look back after 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years and you'll see how sweet it is. And you don't need to be the most talented. Don't need to be the most extroverted. That's the beauty of all this, is get coached, go consistent, and you'll get the results.
So I love this synergy right now the three of us have, and we could sit here and go on for hours and hours because you're sitting there talking. I'm trying to take it all in. At the same time, my brain's going 100 miles an hour. And then I start with like the football analogies, right? Because it's football season, y'all, and I'm a huge football fan. So there we go. And I'm, by the way, next episode, you'll see on YouTube, the centerpiece is going to be my brand new Gus Malzone signed football that I just got today.
I have no idea who that is, Dio.
He's the head coach of UCF.
Okay,
He was once the head coach of Auburn. It's okay.
Okay, shout out Gus.
Coached with Nick Saban, all that good stuff.
Okay.
All right, if you know any of those.
Amir, by the way, Amir's never watched a full football game in his entire life.
Are you a soccer fan?
Including the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Soccer fan?
Amir and I were working Saturdays from like 9 to 3 while everyone was watching college football. And on Sundays, we'd like, just be with our families.
Okay.
I'm a basketball fan.
Very cool.
So all those analogies.
Yeah. Well, for the rest of the audience. So think of like youth sports. That 8th grade football player, right? He is just rah, look how good I am. He is at the top of that youth program. Ask him about his 6th grade year, and he'll laugh. He'll say, oh, I sucked then. Look at me. He'll look at pictures even. He'll look at film that they have on Huddle. Have that 6th grader look at him when it's called Mighty Mites, when they first start letting like the 1st graders start playing tackle. Right. That 6th grader will look back. That 8th grader who's all rah, macho will play 9th grade football. All he'll want to do is ever make the varsity team. He'll make the varsity. He'll look back on his freshman year and be like, oh, my God, I can't believe how bad I was. Yeah. Now he's playing Division I football. He's laughing at how bad he was in college. Same thing applies. You just said it, and it's where my brain went. Yes, we all as professionals should look back on our version of ourselves 6 months ago or 12 months ago and shake our head in disbelief because we thought that was where we were supposed to be,
right.
And we're so much better today.
No doubt.
Right? Because it's a gradual, forever growth. Justin, you said something, and it's something I've been really having a hard time with. So I'm gonna rehearse it today and see if I can incorporate it in one of my presentations going forward. I think I'm getting sick and tired of people talking about how hard the market is.
Yeah.
Like I think I am, and I have the benefit that many others don't. You have that benefit, and Amir has that benefit. We were around in 06, 07, 08. Right. Then we had to live through 9, 10, 11. Mm-hmm. Okay, y'all, this is a phenomenal industry where you can make a lot of money, and the market is a good market. The market's a good market because you're in the mortgage industry. But most of you, the average LO commission right now is somewhere between 90 and 125 basis points. Mm-hmm. The average loan size is $330,000. If you can go out and generate 20 leads on your own, which isn't a lot, by the way, it's 1 lead a day, working day, not even calendar day. You should be able to convert 15%, probably more if you got coached, but I'm just going to give you 15%.
Yeah.
That means you're closing 3.5-ish loans, making 100-ish basis points. Mm-hmm. You're making $120,000 with your high school diploma.
Right.
So do not tell me this market is hard and this market sucks, because this industry gives you an ability to do something that hopefully you're passionate about, where you're helping others, investing back in your community, and you're making $120,000 a year with a very wide range of products.
In a down market.
Okay. Yep. In a market that someone would say there are better times to come.
Right.
And by the way, you mentioned, I love this. You said something about working to the day, but think of the decades.
Right.
Y'all, working to today, because it's going to be a freaking party like it's 1999 in 2025.
No doubt about it.
That's only 18 months away.
No doubt about it.
But I want you to think about what it was like for us. And if you can't think because maybe you were in elementary school at this time, 2009, 10, 11 was like this because I lived it.
Yeah.
I made President's Club by doing 84 units for $13 million. Now, 84 units in today's day and age may be $30 million, and you may make President's Club. It may even get featured in Scotsman Guide.
Right.
But 84 units for $13 million. So I was working at a time pre-Dodd-Frank. LO commission was like 60 to 90 basis points on average.
Right.
So let's say I was really good at selling rates, so I was at 90 basis points on $13 million. 84 units versus 36 units. So at the end of the day, I would tell you, please don't call this a difficult market or a hard market anymore if you want to put it in perspective to what it was like for those of us that were in 9, 10, and 11. Now, if you didn't get in until 2014 or 2016 or 2018 or 2020, yes, this is the hardest market that you've ever experienced. But please know, us veterans have had it worse. And if you can listen to what Amir's trying to tell you, you got to grind this out, embrace the good that it does bring and the value it does bring, and think long term.
Yeah.
Where am I going to be 3 years, 5 years, 7 years? I think a group of us are going to be making piles of money 25, 26, 27.
Oh, yeah.
Only those of us, though, that put in the work in 22, 23, and the first half of 24. Last question. I want to come back to you, Justin. I want to find a way to put a big bow on this and wrap it up.
Yeah.
What is that one you're talking to Justin in 2004 or 2006? You get that kid, you hand him a beer, you're at a Cubs game. What are you telling him?
Yeah. I'm going to answer that in 30 seconds because I just want to say one thing. We met with a loan officer today, and he said it best. He goes, this is a rite of passage. In this time of this market.
I said that, Justin.
Did I just not say he said that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think he said that.
You.
Oh, me.
Yeah,
me.
he.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We have an old married couple in here. Okay. By the way,
met with
Amir, I appreciate the
I'm
correction.
like, you said that? I'm like, I thought I said that.
Yeah.
You are he.
Oh, I'm he.
Yes.
I am him?
We met with a loan officer today. No, but
Hey, Renee, it looks like Justin needs to come to Amplify because
Yes.
obviously his communicating
amplify.
skills need to be amplified a little bit more because he's using he, her, him,
Yeah.
they.
Amir and
we
I-
don't know if we're talking about the third person or the person sitting directly in front of him.
so Amir and I met with a loan officer today.
Okay. And
Talking,
Amir says,
Yes.
Yes.
Amir.
Thank you, Dio.
Amir H. Syed said, "Hey man, this is a rite of passage. You got to taste the bad months and the bad years to enjoy the fruit of the good months and the good years. You can make $100,000 1 month and 0 3 months in a row, right? So that's just context and perspective people need to have. It can't be that easy forever, right? So back to your question, I just wanted to share that because that makes me feel good knowing that I'm just going to keep my head down, focus on my activity, master my craft. The results will follow. It's a marathon. It's a triathlon, right? You got to bike, swim, jump, run. That's what this business takes.
Yeah.
It takes all the different tools in the toolbox consistently, which leads me to my answer. You got to surround yourself with the right people. You are, as cliche as that cliche is, you are a product of the 3 to 5 people you spend time with. If you're around a bunch of bitchers and moaners and complainers, you are that. If you're around a bunch of people that are focused, that are optimistic, that can take a closed window and open a door, that can grind with each other and motivate each other, dude, sky's the limit.
Yes, sir.
I can't agree more. I mean, I preach this, especially on the show, and especially with the newer generation, when they think they can go get newly licensed and work from home. I'm like, you can't do
No,
it.
man.
I am adamant you can't do it.
Absolutely not.
You are the company that you keep.
That's right.
If you don't have a branch to go into where you're surrounded around other people who are doing it at a level that you aspire to do, like how are you ever going to get better? Sometimes you have to move your location because, yeah, you're around a bunch of people who think 12 million a year is a great living until you realize, no, there's other people doing 24. You get around them, you're like 24. That's like the baseline of being really good. You got to get to 40. You get to 40 and you realize, there's people doing 80 and 120?
That's right.
What?
Amir and I always
That's
look
right,
to surround
Gio.
ourselves with smarter people. We never want to be the smartest person in the room. You never want to be the highest earner in the room. You always want to have a learner's mindset, which is something we've learned over the years. And the days of working from home and just enjoying life from the laptop, we both think that office element is going to be needed, and it's going to help catalyze people who are trying to really build their business, because you need that synergy and that energy from other people. And so we're excited because we're opening up some offices in Florida. I mean, we just believe that we need to be around each other to just rally together to get through it. Like the we always call ourselves the Spartans of the movie 300. Like, you need your crew of Spartans to just battle, right, the behemoth of this business right now. But with the right people, you can't lose. Winners want to be around winners.
I agree. 2 quick questions for you. Do you have fun in life?
Hell yeah.
Do you enjoy life?
Absolutely.
Do you make a lot of money?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it can be done. Amir, do you love life?
I love life.
Do you enjoy life?
Immensely.
Yeah. Do you make a lot of money?
More than I believe I deserve.
Yeah. Same goes for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a sacrifice that has to be made. I think you can have to. I really do. Now, I would say there's times in all of our lives we've maybe been out of balance. There's been times we had too much fun. We had to pull it back in. There's been times we worked too much. and we had to pull it back in. But ain't one of us sitting around here being super old. Not yet. We're getting up there, but we're not super old, right? We're all under 50.
Yeah.
And we all have a lot of fun.
Right.
We all make a lot of money. Like, it can be done. And it's almost even like that mindset where I wish I could get more people to see that, yes, you can. Like, yes, it's possible, right? We literally have 2 high school dropouts. No, not high school. 2 college dropouts.
Yep. Right.
And a dude with a degree from a state university.
Right.
By the way, as my son points out, a communications degree, which is a liberal arts degree, which doesn't hold a candle to a Bachelor of Science degree. So he basically told me that not only did I stop at my bachelor's, but I got the easiest bachelor's possible. So I appreciate my 18-year-old. I absolutely love him. But no, it's like, yes, you can. That's what I want to leave this message. Yes, you can.
Right.
Here's 2 people that do.
Right.
Here's one person who surrounds himself around people who do, so I can share their stories with the audience so they too can be inspired, they can learn, and hopefully we entertained them. And if you like what we're doing, please share us, right? Please let your friends know about Justin, about Amir, where to find them. How do I find you again, Amir?
Yeah, you can find me. I think the best way these days is Instagram. I'm really online on Facebook and Instagram, just at Amir Syed.
Okay.
Or just friend request me.
S-Y-E-D.
S-Y, exactly. A-M-I-R S-Y-E-D. And as many of you know, maybe you guys don't know, but every single day, it's part of my DNA now. I've owned this habit. I put out really good content for loan officers that they can implement every single day, 7 days a week on Facebook and Instagram.
Justin, for you?
Same thing. Justin Lopatin, Lopatin, Facebook or Instagram. Happy to connect with anybody.
Beautiful. For me, y'all, tloponline.com. That's where you want to go. I am on LinkedIn, first name Dustin, last name Owen. We're on all the socials at the Loan Officer Podcast. If this was the first time you tuned in because you're friends with Justin and Amir and you kind of like this format, go to Spotify, go to Apple, go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, give us a 5-star review, take a listen or a watch of our catalog. And if you want to see more or you want to have any requests, reach out, let us know. He's Amir. I'm Justin.
One last thought.
I'm joking. I'm Dustin. You're Justin, but go ahead.
Do you want to mention that event in October?
Oh, yes.
Is that cool? Yeah.
Is it cool?
Is that
Hell
okay?
yeah, it's cool.
Okay, all
Only
right.
if I'm invited.
Front row.
Come on, man.
All right.
That's.
Can we check with my schedule first and kind of we'll loop
You
it
missed the
around?
last one.
Because I had something else going on.
I know.
Okay.
I just
All
want
right.
you to know.
October 19th in Chicago, no pun intended, is our fall growth con. Our speaker set's going to come out, but Renee Rodriguez, as always, Richard Milligan of 4C Recruiting, for all the recruiting leaders out there. It's going to be incredible. Mo Ismail is going to be there, helping loan officers and real estate agents understand the new era of content marketing. And so, we're going to make the formal announcement here in the next 10 days. Community has never been more important than now. This COVID thing was a blessing for the mortgage industry. However, it was also a curse. It fragmented, isolated a lot of us. And this is the time where we have to come together and exchange trends and ideas and get camaraderie. And we're really leading the charge for that. And we believe that the loan officers that can work with a beginner's mindset is greater than was. How would you pretend like if this is the first time you were in your business? We're going to see some of the greatest booms we've ever seen. And everything we do from now until the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, we're going to look back and wish we would have done more. And we have to be around the right people, right? So it's the average of 5 people we follow on social as well, right? And I want to encourage everybody that's out there, create content on social. I would not be here right now with you if it wasn't for the content that we put out. It connected us.
Yeah.
Right? It's very powerful. And I want loan officers to feel encouraged. Every day, share your experiences. Be a knowledge broker. Don't worry about what people will think. Don't worry about if it's not showcased the right way. Don't worry about any of that. Every day, show up. Why your podcast is so successful, we talked about that, Dio, is consistency is your character, man. You're here. People forget Joe Rogan's first podcast was in 2009. 2009 was Joe Rogan's first podcast.
That's crazy. I
Think
did not know
about
that.
Yeah. 2009. People just don't see this. So, I just want to encourage people. As my job to be here is be consistent. If you're listening to this, you don't need. English is my second language, right? This mortgage business is incredible. You just broke the stats down. Who makes millions of dollars in the mortgage business? This business allows us to do it. And the American home is the golden goose to the American economy. It will always be okay. They'll find a way to stimulate things. There's 60 plus service providers to a home. So much is given off to a home. It will be fine. The rates will come down and it'll boom again. All these millennials that are coming down the pike. You know, I get really passionate about this.
Lots to be excited about.
I want to be inspiring for people that just stay the course, man. You know?
Here's a final thought, too. I wish I would have looped this in and not at the end, but it's like, now we're like, hey, we're in bonus time now. It's kind of like watching a soccer match. I'm like, God damn, how is it 0-0 after 120 minutes and we have another 19 minutes of no scoring to watch?
Dude.
Yeah, we're in bonus time right now.
Right.
But
penalty kick time?
Yeah, I like penalty kicks. They should just start that after
that's
halftime.
Right. That's the best part.
It makes soccer
you got the Messi, Ronaldo, and Beckham of the mortgage business.
Right, man. Well, you're more like Messi. Ronaldo's a little retarded.
I'll be Messi.
No, but it's the network that you're also getting when you join these groups.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Right? Like what I
Yes.
love most about T-Lop Online, it's the community. Right? Your coaching groups, the coaching groups I've been a part of, the coaching groups you've been a part of, the friends that you know that are my friends, we all live in different states.
Yeah.
Why are we friends? Because we've been in coaching groups together over the past 10 or 15 years. And I think when you're investing in yourself, one of the biggest bonuses, like I love step parents who refer to their stepchildren as their bonus children, right? That tells me that what a great household that is. One of the greatest bonuses you get when you join any type of program is the community, because you end up making lifelong friends who do what you do for a living that you'll be able to lean on throughout your years to help support you, maybe help you with a career opportunity, etc. So
Absolutely.
the community, I don't know why I failed to mention that earlier, but it's like, to me, why I love what all of us do and what we all stand for, is because we are putting a community together.
Right.
So I appreciate y'all's friendship. I love the collaboration. I can't wait to see what T-Lop and Growth Only will continue to do throughout the years. Y'all, thank you for tuning in. This was a long one. Hopefully it was well worth your time. We look forward to catching you on the next episode.
Thanks, man.
Peace.
Thank you.